and welcome to you on Monday the 26th of May 2025. My name's Jenny McCormack. Excuse me. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that is here in the UK. So a warm welcome to you this morning. It is Bank Holiday Monday for us here in the UK. But we're here with our Facebook Live in preparation for this week's stamp set of the week, which is called, as you can see, Sweet Jar. And this particular stamp set has 22 stamps, but it also has a matching punch, excuse me, that punches out this jar here and also the lid. So you can stamp the jar, stamp whatever you would like inside it, and then punch the whole thing out. Hello Kerry, good evening to you. I hope you are well. My screen looks particularly dark and shady, so let's put a little bit of light on, especially on that left hand side. That's a little bit better. So this stamp set excuse me, is one of our online exclusives, so you won't see it in the catalogue, but you can purchase this from our online selection. If you order with me normally at coffee and card or in person, you can still order that. The fact that it's online just means that it's not in a printed catalogue. So this jar you could use for lots of different things, obviously, but the elements that come in the stamp set are these here, which could be cookies, or they could also be sweets. If you make them into cookies, you've got these little dots here, so I'm going to make this like little chocolate chip biscuits. We then have some clover here, 4-leaf clover, makes a great good luck card, particularly appropriate for forthcoming exams and the like. We've got a shadow here that match the hearts, so the hearts sit on top of that. I'll show you the samples in a second. And then we have some candles with the flames and a lit flame. We have some loose 4-leaf clover hearts and a set of 3 and a set of 2. And then we have some really nice sentiments, and what I really like about this one is it's got sending a little and then a gap your way, and you can put in sending a little luck, sending a little love, sending a little sweetness. You could also put your own sentiments in there. So if you wanted hug, birthday wishes, that sort of thing, you could add those in. There's also a little treat for you, miss you bunches, and a happy birthday stamp. So the sweet jar itself, oh thank you Kerry, I had a great time on the incentive trip. It was, as always, brilliant from start to finish, and not too, well, no jet lag really on my way back. I just made sure I sort of got on with things, and I won't say I went to bed at a sensible time when I got home, but yeah, not too bad at all. And now we're back into a level of normality, of course. So the punch itself punches out the jar and the lid. Let me show you some samples. I've got some here. So this is some that I was just playing with when I first got the set. So I've stamped the jar and then stamped, in this case, the cookies. I don't know if you can see the detail of the cookies on that one. And then this one I've just stamped a sentiment onto that, so sending a little love your way. I've got assorted hearts, so I'm just practicing to see how those go together. So you can put these together, or you could just stamp the hearts on their own. That's another sending a little love your way. And then these are, that's the 4-leaf clover. And this is some of the pieces put together. So that's the clover, which I stamped in. It'll come to me in a minute. Shy Shamrock. I remember thinking it was appropriate because it's a bit like a shamrock. And then we've got the cookies here, and then the hearts. And with the stamps, you've got sending a little, oh, I obviously haven't cleaned these from when I used these before, which you can either cut, separate, put a larger sentiment in, or what I actually did was I popped it on the block and I just inked up the top section and then stamped my sentiment that I wanted in the middle and then inked up the bottom section. So I'll show you how I did that. Obviously picked up a dirty block as well. So let me give these a quick clean and we'll just crack on. So this is our stamp set of the week. And the stamp set itself is £19, but you can buy it as a bundle with the, I had a feeling that wasn't coming clean, with the punch, or you can buy the punch on its own, of course, if you just want a jar. You could make the jar bigger by stamping it, cutting it in the middle, and then adding something in between, so some patterned paper or something to look like a label, for example. Here's the lid. Okay, and then those are the sentiments that are going to go into there. Those candles are very sweet as well. You can have the candles in the jar or just have the candles stamped along. And what I quite like about the candles is they come as 2 stamps. So you get a single candle and then you get this set of 3. So when you're building it up, you can sort of interchange those so it doesn't look like just a single stamp multiplied out. Okay, so I've got a couple of ideas in my head. It's always very dangerous. So first thing I'm going to do is actually punch some of the lids out of some spare gold card, and you could punch these out or stamp and punch out to coordinate. There we go. And just for today I'm just going to use some square cards just for some simple card making, and then we'll step it up a little bit more later in the week. It will probably be Wednesday evening instead of Thursday because I'm out on Thursday evening at the local Amateur Dramatic Society. So rather than do it Friday, I will probably record on Wednesday evening live. Okay, so I've got a couple of ideas, as I say, literally just in my head, and I'm thinking first of all I'm going to do a cookies, one chocolate chip cookie. So I've got this is crumb cake, I've got a white card base, and then I've got a piece here that I can stamp. I just wonder if I might do a piece of basic beige, which I have just here, for my jar. Now my bags are all packed ready for coffee and card, so let me see what I can make do with from here. So I'm just going to trim this down so I'm not playing with a huge piece of card. So I'm thinking we're going to stamp the jar and then the cookies. Good morning to you, lovely Lynn. I hope you are keeping well. Now you can use these little sentiments as a label on the top. What I don't want to do really is cover up the other elements, so I might just put this sentiment on the side we'll see. Okay, let's do a quick bit of stamping. Lovely to see you yesterday, Lynn. Sorry I didn't get to catch up with you in the afternoon. I gave somebody a lift and therefore I wasn't available to pop in and see you. Right, so I'm thinking espresso. This would make a nice Father's Day card for somebody who likes cookies. So I'm going to stamp my jar first, like so, and it's got the shading already on it. You could just shade that in. You could also stamp it onto some detailed coloured card to start with. And I'm going to use that for my chocolate chips. And then I'm going to use this one here. And I think I'm going to use, excuse me, Basic Beige ink. I'm going to try it on a little bit here. And let's see. And I've got my little jar lid already done, which you can either put directly on there, you can have it on the side, you can have it lifted up, all sorts of options for that. Let's grab another block and let's see how this comes out. So I'm just going to stamp it up here. Yes, that works. I don't really want my cookies overbaked. I need to take my glasses off though and pop these in here. I can't remember if I stamped them right at the bottom or not. Let's have a look. So here's one with Calypso coral cookies. Just a little bit up from the bottom. There we go. Hopefully you can see that okay. And then I've got the little dots for the, in this case, chocolate chips. And I'm going to do those in espresso. And I'm going to have a quick practice on here. See what that looks like. I'll put this light on actually. Okay. This is going to go straight on top. Like so. So there's my cookies, and I can punch that straight out. So just take a minute or two to get it lined up. There is a border around the cookie jar. I guess if you didn't have the punch, quite an easy shape to actually just cut out manual if you wanted to, but obviously it's a little bit of fun with the punch as well. And let me see what layers I've got. So I've got that crumb cake on here, and I'm thinking I might stamp the cookies right across the bottom as well. Let's grab a piece of card and I could use the dots, but I think it'd be quite fun with the cookies across there in that basic beige. Not going to stand out quite as much on the crumb cake. The drumming was really good. It was really good fun. It was well supported, lots of people in the park. It was sort of full, and I hadn't realised that the whole event went on till about 10 o'clock at night, I think. Okay, so I'm going to just stamp these, just going to overlap these a little bit at the bottom, like so, just so it doesn't look obviously like too much like a jar. And let's add the chocolate chips to that. I think what I can do with this is put the jar to the left and put my little sentiment on the right hand side of that. And I'm just going to stamp this on like so. And I'm just looking really at this one here on the right hand side. That's the easiest one to line up. And obviously you can use these as little dots in their own right. They don't have to be a cookie jar. So I've got my cookies across the bottom. I've got my little jar here. It's going to go on top. My jar lid. And if I can put my sentiment here on the right hand side. So we've got sending a little something your way. Which I had. There it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you how I stamp this separately. You could, as I say, cut it up. That'd be no problem at all. But if you wanted it in different colours or a bigger sentiment, then all I did, it's quite easy, was just ink up the top section. So sending a little, and then you can have birthday wishes or something like that, and then stamp the bit at the bottom. And I think if you're not used to being able to line things up, this would be quite a good way to do it anyway. So I've got sending a little, and then whatever you wanted. So we've got love, sweetness, party, luck. You could also have sending a, oh yes, little treat for you. You need to lose the A on there, otherwise you'll be doubled up. So what should we have? I could do with, so let's do sweetness. So this would be a fun Father's Day card, I think. And the ones with the shamrocks or the four-leaf clover would be great as a potential good luck for forthcoming exams. So let's do, it's the block I want really. So let's do sweetness. So sending a little sweetness, and then I'm going to use the bottom part of that. Just make sure I clean it first so that I'm not transferring over anything I don't need. And then I'm just going to ink up your way here at the bottom. Like so. Hopefully you can see that. Sending a little sweetness your way. Morning, Catherine. Catherine's watching on silent, so I'm going to give her the thumbs up. Okay, now you can have multiple jars. I was thinking this would be really fun with, if you stamp these in lots of different colours, they could be, what do you call these? The name's gone out of my mind. The coloured sweets, what are they called? You see them a lot in America. Somebody will know. Somebody will know what they are. Okay, that's going to be my lid on top, and that's going to go onto a white card. So let's put that together. Let's shut my ink pad up before I put my arm in it. There we go. Weather changed definitely this morning. It's bank holiday here. you can almost guarantee a weather change. I'm going to open this from the side. It was a beautiful day yesterday. We were very lucky because we were outside at Buckingham Live for this big music festival. There we go. And then I'm going to pop this one up on dimensionals, I think, which are here. Just going to pop 3 on there. Jelly beans. Thank you, Kerry. She's got it. Jelly beans. It's because I don't like them, that's why. I couldn't think of what they were called. Okay, so there's my jar, and then you can either pop the lid on open and have them coming out. That's one of the options. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of glue along here, and it's easier to put it on the larger piece than put it on the small piece and get it all over your fingers. Just use a pair of tweezers, put that on the top because I want it sort of going over the edge. Like so. There we are, sending a little sweetness your way. Oops. So there's one. And I thought, what else could I do? I could do some jelly beans with some nice bright colours. Let's do that. Or I could do some hearts. Choices, folks? What do we think? Let's grab a small piece to stamp on anyway, and let's do, I'm going to stick with an espresso, but you could definitely have a red jar or whatever colour jar you wanted. Just going to do this really quickly. I might have been able to fit it on my other piece of card, but never mind. Sure, I've got red. Here we go. I've got real red and real red card. And you could just have the hearts on their own, or you can have it with this infill, which is this one here, like so. But what I do like about this is that you've got the separate hearts as well. These ones here, so you could have those coming out of the lid if you wanted to. Right, let's borrow another piece here. So yes, jelly beans or cookies, whatever you want them to be. And also you don't have to punch this out if you don't want to. You could have it as your layer onto here. Maybe I'll try that. I'm sure there'll be lots of options at Coffee and Card tomorrow. So there's no Coffee and Card in Toaster this afternoon. Because it's bank holiday, a lot of people are away. I wonder if I might do then some hearts coming out of the top. And then I can have sending a little love your way. Let's grab a smaller block for these hearts. So you've got a 3 and a 2. What I'm going to do is that. So, didn't see that. And then I've got sending a little. Could actually put that on a little piece on top, but I'm just going to do that. And what I'm going to do is stamp this part of the sentiment in espresso and then love in real red, I think. Is a solid inlay meant for... no. Well, does it? I don't think so. Having said that, you might be right. I assumed it was for the hearts only because of those shapes there. That's a good question, Catherine. Let's try... No, you're right. So those cookies fit that inlay as well. And I'm guessing in that case the clover does. Well done you. I don't know why I assumed it was the hearts only. Right. Thank you for that. You learn something every day. So this one is going to say sending a little. So this time I'm just doing the whole thing in one go. And then the word love in the middle in real red. There it is. Let's make sure that's clean. Like that. Now I could punch out the lid in red. This is actually my backing, so I could punch out a lid in red or use a gold one. What do we think? I'll punch it out and we can have a look. If I punch it from the center, give or take. Let me know whether you think it should be gold or red. It could be down on the bottom, but I quite like it sort of here as if the hearts are all leaping out. I think I'm going to stick with the red unless you think otherwise. I don't know why the subtitles have stopped though, it's very odd. Okay, let's put that together. And so I could do that outline, but I quite like those hearts just as they are. But maybe I'll do one more just very quickly, or even just stamp that layer out. So let's pop this layer down onto here. I don't know why I turned that over. Because I really didn't need to. I've done that before, I've noticed that. Where you've got a piece of coloured card. And I automatically turn it over to the other side, even though it's the same on both sides. Okay, so here's another idea. You could do that and stamp your elements on the inside of here, if you wanted to. That'd be quite good fun. Right, this one I do have to turn over. It must be just muscle memory. just turning it over without really thinking about it. Okay, so the size of this piece here is 9 centimetres by 9 centimetres, this white layer. So Kerry says gold one would look good, and Catherine says maybe the lid needs to be on the ground. So what do we think? Gold? Just to lift it up a little bit, and then on the ground. Flat? Do we think? Like that? I think if I'd have done that, I might have stamped that a little bit further over. So I think I'm going with it like that, I think. Have it slightly attached. I don't know which is worse, on the basis that in real life you don't have hearts floating out of a jar. I'll go with it. What do we think? I just feel that's a little bit bunched up, but I'll take your opinion. I'm going to stick it there just for time. Sorry folks. On something slightly different. Okay. I could put this on dimensionals as well. Just going to stick that down. Like that. And I think I need to put a few hearts inside. So just putting 3 in there like that. So that's that one, and I'm going to take Catherine's brilliant suggestion, which is how to use it properly, and let me see. Jelly beans. I've got pretty in pink. Let's do espresso jar just for speed. Not sure if I'm going to punch this out or not, so let's I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to use Pretty in Pink and stamp it off with our background. Which fits all of them. And of course you've got the lid to the jar that you could stamp. I've just used my punched out version. So let's pop that on there. Now I'm going to stamp this off first. And I'm actually going to move some of that ink away because it's quite strong as it is. Yes, that's better. Oh, brightly coloured slime. Yes, you certainly could, Catherine. You certainly could. I'm sure you could make that sort of into many things. Right, and then let's use the cookies one. Just going to line it up on here roughly. Just going to use the edge of this now because I want a little bit more colour. So these are now jelly beans, not cookies. If you had Stampin' Up markers, you could ink up some of those in individual colours if you wanted to. Might take a little while, mind you. Okay, so I'm just using the edge where I've moved some of the ink to get this a little bit darker, otherwise it's not going to show up. So these are my jelly beans. I need to take my glasses off, put this on here. Give a take. There we are. Gives a nice background. So thank you for that, Catherine. Completely oblivious to the fact that that fits all of those. Isn't that funny how you see something or don't see something? Okay, let's do a pink lid. Why not? Let's do the slightly darker version of that. Move that out of the way. There we go. And now shall I punch that out and punch a separate lid? I sort of feel I want to do that. So there's that. I could use a lid from there, but I'm going to punch another one because I do rather like that. So apologies, this is supposed to be a short and sweet introduction to our stamp set of the week, and I've got a little bit carried away. Okay, so you can just stamp and punch that one out. Obviously you could punch it in your cardstock, silver, gold, patterned paper. Thinking you could also do this, and if you have a small circle punch, you could put some patterned paper behind, especially if you've got the ones that have got like confetti and things like that, or flowers. You can have flowers in there. You could create a mask, cut out the middle bit and stamp things, you know, behind and inside. And let's see, I think we just need jelly beans all the way over, really, don't we? So let's do that. What I'm going to do is just do them round the edges. Let's bring our piece of scrap back in. So maybe I'll just do it top and bottom. so. All good. Thanks, Kerry. A little treat for you. Let's try that one. And I'm going to stamp that in espresso just so that it stands out, although I could do just a little strip of card, couldn't I? Right, where's that piece I've just punched out? A little treat for you. Somewhere in here is a trimmer. I'm going to take my one from my coffee and card bag. Must remember to put it back though. Don't know how straight I actually stamp that. Not particularly, I don't think. Too bulky. Go. Have that underneath, I suppose. Just do a flag on that. Sorry, it's out of shot. Needs to be smaller. I've got the wrong scissors for this, really. Okay, let's pop that up with dimensionals. I'll put this together. So it wasn't my intention to make 3 cards, but there we go. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. So thank you for sticking it out. Let's pop that here. I'm just going to put that lightly down. That will work. A bit better. That's going to go on with, I'm going to trim that a little bit closer and just put that on with some glue, and then that whole layer will go onto a white card. Tuck that underneath there. And then that's going to go on the top. And again, just a little bit of glue along the top of that line. Like so. And we are done. trying to get that so I can just see the top of the jar underneath it, like so. And I will put that onto a white card. And we are done. So big thank you to Catherine for spotting that that infill actually fits all of those, not just the hearts as I thought. Okay, this is going to go on to my base card, opening sideways. You could have it opening from the top. This is a square card, so this piece here measures 9.5 centimeters, the pink layer, and then the card is 9.9 centimeters. And then finally a little bit of bling to finish that off. It'd be nice if I had some pink, which I do. Put one there. One here. And one there. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So 3 cards in a bit longer than I envisaged. So we have the cookies chocolate chip, sending a little sweetness your way. A little treat for you with jelly beans. And then sending a little love your way. Be nice for an anniversary card with the hearts. So I didn't use the clover, but I'm sure I will do for coffee and cards, so I can show you that one as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. Sorry it's gone on a bit longer than I envisaged. That's what happens when you have a break for a week. Yeah, things sort of don't quite, you're not quite in the scheme of things, and also the fact that I only planned it literally. No, I didn't even plan it before we started, so apologies for that. Thank you so much, everybody. I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day, morning, afternoon or evening, depending on where you are and when you are watching. So I shall be back Wednesday morning with I've got another new kit to show you, and then I'll be here Wednesday evening instead of Thursday for this week, doing something else with our sweet jar. So that is the stamp set, lots of components. I haven't used the candles, so maybe I will use those and maybe do a little bit of masking on Wednesday evening. And also we have the matching punch that goes with that. Both are currently in stock. You can buy as a bundle or you can buy them individually. Thank you so much, everyone. Do take care. Thank you so much. Thanks for catching me live. I appreciate that, Kerry, and also to everybody else who's joined us. So thank you to Catherine and Lynn and Kerry. Thank you so much. Bye for now.